In this video I'm going to look at the Insta360 1R lens guards for the 360 mod. Are they any good, what's the design like, and how do they affect image quality? So let's get straight to it. In the box you get two hardened lens protectors mounted in a solid plastic frame. And they come with a well designed protective pouch with a split pocket inside, so you can store and protect your guards when you're not using them. The design of the lens guards allows you to easily clip them onto the front of the Insta360 1R mounting bracket. You locate the bottom of the guard onto the small metal shaft and then close the guard and clip it into place into the slot at the top of the mounting bracket. Once these lens guards are in place, they will not budge. They're a real solid fit and definitely won't fall off. Just a quick tip about putting these lens guards on: the bottom clip only lightly locates itself onto the metal shaft, so it doesn't clip on and it doesn't pivot once it's clipped on. So if you let go of it before you've completely attached it, it will fall off. And also, when you locate the top of the guard into the mounting bracket, you have to push it quite hard to get it into the slot. So when you're putting these lens guards on, or when you're taking them off, hold the camera or the mounting bracket firmly in your hand while you're doing it. Don't try and mount the lens guards onto the mounting bracket whilst the camera is attached to a selfie stick or to any other mount. Learn by my mistakes. To take the lens guards off, on the side with the LCD screen you just unclip it. On the side without the LCD screen you have to take the camera out of the mounting bracket to make it easier, and it just makes the camera less vulnerable as well. This is also a good design of the lens guards for battery changes, because you can leave the lens guards on, you can open the back of the mounting bracket, you can take the camera out, change the battery, put the camera back in, and everything is still left in place, so you don't then have to put the lens guards back on again. And when you're putting the lens guards on, try and hold them from the edges around the plastic area around the edge. This will avoid you putting your fingerprints all over them and ruining your shot. But to be honest, it is inevitable this will happen, so the best thing to do is just take a lens cloth with you. And if you have some canned air at home, then it's worth having that with you as well, because you can spray the inside of the lens guard and it removes any small bits of dust or debris that may be trapped inside the lens guard. On the side of the LCD screen, the lens guard does block the screen quite a lot, so you can't swipe it with your finger. You can, however, use the app or turn on auto rotate, so when you rotate the camera vertically you can use the menu that way instead. When you look at your image in the app or on Studio 2020, you'll see the outline of the lens guard in your shot, and you'll have to turn on the stitching option for lens guards, which is here. And this will then stitch out the black line that you can see in your image and make it disappear. Whenever you put any lens protector in front of a lens, it always brings into question how it's going to affect the quality of the image. So first, let's look at a straightforward shot, which is a panning reframe in flat light. In flat light, you'd be hard pushed here to tell the difference between the two images, and the lens guard has no impact on image quality. But of course most of us won't be using a lens guard in such a safe environment, so let's see how it compares when we put it onto a bike. You can see here that the image with the lens guard on is a little softer, with a slight haze in places where the guard is picking up reflections. It's only noticeable against certain colours and backgrounds, but there's still a definite difference in image quality. But we also have to remember in this scenario the reason why we're using a lens guard, and that's to protect the lens. And the camera here is mounted protruding out from the handlebars over the front wheel, so it's vulnerable to stone chips, and I wouldn't want to do this shot without the lens guard, so the lens guard is doing its job. Harsh sunlight can be a real challenge for lens guards and lens protectors, and it can create additional lens flares and reflections, and it can draw more attention to dust particles. These shots are a real test to push the lens guards in a challenging environment. So here I'm putting the camera in harsh direct sunlight, so even without the lens protector we have a lot of flare and reflections appearing across the lenses. With the lens protectors on, it degrades the image and it makes the lens flares a lot worse. You wouldn't really want to use these images, it just creates a hazy, dusty looking image with lots of reflections and ugly lens flares. The other thing you have to consider when using these lens guards is that when the software stitches out the lens guard, it can also cut off other things like your hands that fall within the same stitching area. All these tests are to give you examples of how the lens guard affects the image in certain situations. Of course, not all of these tests are realistic, and we wouldn't ordinarily place the camera in one position pointing towards direct, harsh sunlight for a long period of time. But it's interesting to see how the image quality is affected in a worst case scenario. It is clear that the lens guard does affect the image quality to varying degrees dependent on the environment that we're using it in, but that wouldn't stop me using them. What they are very good at is protecting your lenses, and that's what they're designed to do, and it's a cost-effective way of doing it. And there are some situations that are just too risky to shoot without using them. Let me know in the comments how much risk you would take to get the best shots with your camera and whether you would compromise image quality. Would you use these lens guards? Please remember to subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.